Hey everybody, welcome to your Wednesday night ITEC training. Tonight you're going to learn some very cool things about ITEC, and I'm very excited that we have TMD, TMD Derek is here to share a bunch of very cool stuff with you tonight. So what's going to happen is I'm going to turn the ball over to Derek. He's going to take over the screen, show you a bunch of cool stuff. And then once he's done, we'll get as many questions answered as possible. This session will probably go for about 45 minutes. Okay. And it's being recorded, so you can come back and watch it all you want to. Derek, can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
And can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you, before we get started, do you see on the right, the bottom right here, let me get rid of this, the YM chart over here, do you see this number here with the black on it?
Yes.
What is that?
That is where your dotted line for your up arrow is about to plot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay, that makes sense. Right on. I've been wondering what that black number is. We all have, and I've been meaning to ask you. So though the line has not plotted yet, that's where it's going to start at.
Exactly.
Basically. All right. That's cool. That's cool to know. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to turn the ball over to you, Derek. Do I need to hit change presenter, or can you just grab it?
I'll just steal the screen from you.
Steal the screen, baby.
All right. So hopefully everybody can see my screen now. So tonight I just wanted to go over a couple of customization options. By this point, I'm assuming that most of you guys have ITEC installed. I guess no one can see my screen yet.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and fix that real quick.
I've got a white screen right now on you.
All right, how about that?
There we go. Beautiful, baby.
Perfect. All right, so we will go over some basics as far as like answering specific questions if you guys haven't gotten ITEC running yet. But tonight's going to be mostly about ways that you can customize ITEC to suit your personal risk tolerance or your trading plan, and to show you kind of some of the options that are available. So like a lot of you in the room probably took this long YM trade this morning, and I did as well, and I hit the first target and I ended up getting stopped out break even on my runner and missing a little bit extra on the trade. So I know that happens sometimes, and that can be frustrating if you're using the default settings that are in there. And the default settings are not meant to be like the holy grail of settings or anything like that. That's just kind of a starting point for everybody, and you know, you can branch out from that point, either being more conservative with your stop management or giving a little bit more room in an effort to capture those runners. So this example here is a separate account that I let run in Sim, and just playing with some different stop options. And so the only difference between this chart and the default settings is that when you hit the first target, this is moving the stop to 6 ticks below your entry. And the reason that I did that is because a lot of times we hit the first target and there's a little bit of a pullback, not anything major, but sometimes it's enough to hit your stop at break even. That seems to happen often. And so you can see here, by giving the trade a little bit of room to breathe, it actually allowed our runner to stay on and do something useful for us. Now you can see too later in the day that it got us into another trade, and our runner got taken out for a 6-tick loss. So there's two sides to every coin. So you know, do your research, understand the personality of the instrument that you're trading. But just wanted to let you guys know that those options are in there and meant for you to play with and find what suits you. So like I said, default settings in this case, I used a break-even offset of -6. You know, you could also choose to be more protective and put that at a positive number, meaning you're locking in even a tick or 2 ticks or whatever of profit on that runner. But in doing so, you're also increasing the chance that that trade does not become a runner. So that's an important thing to mention, I think. The other option is using the ATR stop, turning that to false, and that's a more aggressive trail. So right now that's trailing 1 tick below the low of the previous bar, so we would have been taken out right here. So you know, some trades that works out on and some doesn't, and again, that's just finding what suits you and what makes you comfortable, because at the end of the day, you need to find the method and the settings that allow you to be comfortable and have confidence in what you're doing. We don't want to take losses happen, but you don't want to take a string of losses and then be too afraid to turn ITEC on after that's happened. And by that I mean that there's a difference between recognizing when the market is no longer suitable for trading and being afraid to enter the next trade. There's a big difference there. We shouldn't just be letting ITEC run hoping that it's going to turn around. We need to have a reasonable expectation that the market is going to continue to cooperate. So another thing that you can do, and I know a couple of people in the room have been experimenting with this, is you could actually use ITEC for scalping. And that's not something that I do personally, but that is an option. You could choose to take a much closer target and protect that runner much sooner, or you could even take all contracts off at that first target. And this method would be similar to trading one contract. So if we go ahead and just disable these settings here real quick, if you wanted to trade one contract or multiple contracts and take them all off at that first target, you need to change this entries per direction to 1. And that's not saying one contract, that's saying one trade. Because by default, ITEC takes 2 trades, and that first trade comes off at the initial target, and the second trade is the runner, whether that's 1 contract or 5 contracts or any combination. So entries per direction means that we're only going to take the first trade. Whatever this size is, that's what it's going to be, but we're only taking the first trade. And by setting this to 1, the second trade size value is completely ignored. So it doesn't matter if I have 1 or 5 or 100 there, it's not going to get executed, period. So say you wanted to trade 5 contracts all out at your first target, and you wanted a 10-tick target, great. That's all you need to do. 1 entry per direction, number of contracts you want to trade, and then adjust any of your money management parameters to match that. Yeah, so that's kind of some of the options that I wanted to make aware to everybody. I've been working on the next version of ITEC, the new update, and I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek of that if I can.
No, don't do it.
My computer's going real slow. Geez, you see this? All right, so a couple of things that I'm adding to the next version of ITEC is we've got the account name back in here, back by popular demand, but I put it on the top here because some people had really long account names that was causing this sidebar to be really huge. So now it can take up all the room it wants in the top and be out of our way. And I know some people said they had a hard time seeing the long and short buttons because the gray was so close to gray, or if they had issues seeing colors. So I've added little stars on there to indicate when they're on and off. So you don't necessarily have to see the color. You'll see that it becomes all capitals and there's a little star on there. The other thing that I've added is these 2 buttons right here, which allow us to toggle between the 2 trail stop methods. So you can see a little star next to this ATR, and that's indicating right now that using the dotted line is our trail stop method. And if I click it, it turns off and it activates the previous. So this means previous bar. In this case, it's letting us know that we're trailing by 2 ticks above or below the previous bar's high-low. So that's going to be a nice little feature, and this will actually allow you to toggle in the middle of a trade. So you could start out a trade being really protective, trailing your stop just barely behind the previous bar, and then choose later in the trade to switch to the trail stop using the ATR line and give the trade a little bit more room to breathe. And then you can decide at the end of the run you chicken out and you want to switch back, and it'll do that. So what it won't do is move your stop lower in the case of a long. So if we're trailing, if our stop is trailing 2 ticks behind this bar and then 2 ticks behind this bar, and right here we decide, you know what, I want to use the ATR line instead, the stop is going to stay right here until this ATR line passes it, and then it will begin to carry on again. But those are going to be some neat little things that you'll be able to do in the new edition of ITEC coming out in maybe a day or two. I want to see it run myself a little bit more just to make sure that all of those options are working as they should. Let's see. I'm being asked about manually adjusting the stops and targets on ITEC. So that is definitely possible, but not on the same chart that ITEC is running on. So in order to do that, you would open up another chart of the same instrument, and then you can enable Chart Trader, and you'll see your stops and your targets and your entries show up on Chart Trader as it normally would, except there'll be ITEC's trade showing up there. And you can adjust the targets up and down and the stops up and down on the fly as well if you wanted to take over. So, you know, if you wanted to use ITEC strictly as an entry tool and manage the stop on the fly, that's an option. You could also use your DOM. That's fine too. Just it's going to be a separate window for you to do that in. And if, let's say, you were doing that and ITEC is calling for a tighter stop than what you have, at some point ITEC is going to take that back over. So that's important to mention. Let's see, can you add a profit target to stop trading? I'm not sure about that yet because different data feeds handle the daily profit and loss information differently. And if you were to, so ITEC can only keep track of what it has done for the day on that specific chart. So like my chart right here, because I went into settings, these trades went away and the actual profit and loss went away. So if you had done that in the middle of your trading day, even though this was up, I don't remember, $280, let's say, because we reset it, it's back to zero, and now ITEC would be thinking, oh, I've made no money today, I need to continue. So that remains to be determined if that's actually going to be possible in a reliable fashion. Let's see here. Yes, you can move stops on the DOM. We just covered that. ATR buttons, I like them, great. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about those options too, to be able to switch the stops on the fly. And it'll give you a little reminder, so you saw that it set ATR -2 or previous -2. And so it's giving you a little bit of a reminder what values those are, and it's reading those input options from the settings when it tells you that. When I use the DOM to close a trade, it turns ITEC off. Yes, it does. And that was the reason why I added the flatten button in there. If you close a trade that ITEC placed by any other method than ITEC handling that, this is a NinjaTrader feature, so it doesn't matter if it's ITEC or any other robot from any other vendor. If you manually close a trade in your DOM or you hit the flatten button in the NinjaTrader control panel, it causes the strategies to completely disable, and that's across the board on all charts that you have that instrument running. Yes, Judd, this is being recorded. Hopefully I won't lose the recording this time.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, see, I lost my spot in the questions.
You want me
Could
to
we
read them off to
change?
you?
Could we change the colors? Richard, what colors are you referring to there? Right now, ITEC's only colors is the arrows that it draws and the profit target and the stop loss lines.
Derek?
Yes.
He's asking if we can have the cloud change colors. And I think, Richard,
Oh, okay.
ask a more complete question, because I'm assuming that you're asking if the cloud changes directions, can it change colors? But that's an assumption. Here we go. Have the cloud change color as the direction changes.
Yeah, so that would be really awesome. The problem is that this cloud is one continuous unit, like one continuous thing logically. And so, yes, I could have the cloud change colors based on the current conditions, but it would change all of the historical cloud. So like here, the 50 is below the 200, and I'm assuming you'd want that painted red, let's say. But because 50 is above 200, the entire cloud would be painted green or whatever color you were preferring for that. So that's why I went with gray. 50 or 287 different stuff.
Ken, the cloud is, and I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not. Derek, can you point out the cloud? There he goes.
Yeah.
The cloud is the shaded area. That's called a cloud. We call it, we don't call it anything. We call it, I don't know, what do we call it?
Yeah, nothing. The cloud.
Exactly.
The cloud actually has nothing to do with ITEC. That's just an additional indicator that Steve is using in the room.
Yeah, that has something to do with our charting package.
Yeah, we can take all this stuff away, and ITEC will still take the exact same trades.
Yeah, so you could take away all the indicators, guys, and ITEC's going to do the exact same thing, what it's supposed to do.
Granny, we do not have the option to make the arrows bigger. Unfortunately, I would love for them to be bigger, but NinjaTrader only has one option, and it has no sizes, so it's kind of a bummer. Start time beginning at 2300 and end at 300. Danny, yes, you can. So if you wanted to trade an overnight session, if that's your time zone, yeah, you can. It understands what to do with that. Let's see. What else do we got? Rich, you're asking about if you had previous -2, previous -6, -8, and so on. So in the example that I showed you, it said previous -2, and the -2 is an input. There's going to be an input option in ITEC. And so you'll be able to change that if you wanted to be, like you said, if you wanted to be 6 ticks below the previous bar's low, you'll be able to change that, and it's going to be reflected. So instead it would say previous -6, letting you know that you're 6 ticks below that bar. So times for running ITEC. There's not really a hard and fast rule as far as when to run it. Obviously, you want to trade it in times that the markets are open, like the YM. You don't want to be trading it right now or at 4 o'clock in the morning or anything silly like that. But it's more, running ITEC is more than just the time of day that you use it. You have to be doing your analysis and determining what direction the market is trying to move, if it's trying to move, and really knowing, making that decision of if you're going to turn ITEC on at all, and if you are, what direction. There's plenty of days when you might watch 5 different instruments and only turn ITEC on 2 of them for the entire day. So don't try and force something that's not going to happen. If you only get one trade, you only get one trade. I mean, there was an ITEC trade in gold today that ran for like $1,000. You know, you don't have to do that very many times to make trading a pretty profitable venture. So don't try and force trades that are there, or that are not there, you know. And the longer the day goes on, sometimes the harder the market can get. Yeah, there could be big runs in the afternoon, but it's not predictable, and there can be a lot of chop. So it's really being observant of the market conditions and giving ITEC good instruction, you know, as far as what your intentions and expectations of the market are. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yes. This is not meant to be just turned on and forgotten. Those type of robots do not work long term. We suggest that you do your due diligence on the direction that a instrument could possibly go in, and then from there decide how you want to use ITEC. I always say that there's three main reasons to use ITEC. The first reason is because you have a hard time pulling the trigger and actually entering trades. The second reason is because once you are in a trade, you have fear and you get out of trades too early and you lose the runners. So ITEC will help you there. And three, if you cannot be around your computer, but you see some opportunity trades coming, you can turn on ITEC and let ITEC take those trades if they actually follow through. I think those are probably the three main reasons. You don't want to turn this thing on and just let it run. Okay, that's not what this is. We've all bought robots in the past that do that, and there's a reason why you're not using them today, because they do not work. Okay, the markets are constantly changing, and there is no algorithm that somebody can program that is going to change, that's actually going to get smart with the market and actually change on a daily basis to keep up with it. If someone had that, you would not have the opportunity to buy it. Trust me on that.
Right.
They wouldn't sell it. So the stuff you're buying out there is algorithms that are put together in certain market conditions. So when those market conditions happen, right on. But once that changes, once we have a new oscillation, once there is a new market, that robot's going to be shit. And I'll just tell you straight, that's why none of them have ever worked. This robot is exactly the same way. If you left this on 24 hours a day just to trade, you will lose money. I can almost guarantee that. Okay, unless you got really lucky. That's not what ITEC is for, and we've said it 347 times now. That's not what it's for. Okay, it's to help us be better traders. And that's all I have to say about that.
I'm getting a question here, Steve, about Unibanco bars, and do they have to be added to the chart? And the smarty pants answer is no if you don't want to trade a Unibanco chart, but the real answer is yes. If you want to trade a chart that looks like this, which is the environment that ITEC was developed to work in, then yes, you need the Unibanco bars. If I know some of you guys were involved with Pro 9 and you have the Pro 9 bars, that's essentially the same bar as the Unibanco 42010. So you're fine to use it on any bar type that you want, but just understand that the types of trades that it's going to take is going to depend on that chart. So ITEC doesn't need indicators to be on there. It will make those calculations, but those calculations are based on the information from the bars on the chart.
Right.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. So the Unibancos. I saw another question. I'm not sure if you answered it. There's another trading room, another company that has things called momentum arrows. And let me look at your chart here. So a momentum arrow, I'm not sure exactly when they pop up, but a lot of times they'll pop up with a bar that's got a tail on it, like this one, right? Can you guys see my cursor?
No.
Okay, you can't see it. So point to a bar that's got a tail on it. Come down farther.
Oh, okay, like right here.
Right there. So right there might be a momentum, what they used to call a momentum arrow. Yeah, right there. That's a momentum arrow would pop up and give the trader an opportunity maybe to get back into the trade. So let me fill you guys in on some other additions. Leave that screen just like that, please. Just like right there. It's perfect.
Sure.
So bring your cursor to the left. More down. Left, down to the red bar, right, almost there, right there. So one of the things we want to add to this is what we call a continuation trade. And you would have the option to turn on the continuation trades or turn them off. It's up to your discretion. But continuation trades have turned out to be very good trades for us in the room with discretionary trading. So here you have a run of, I'm going to say 9 green bars, which was probably a maybe or maybe not an ITEC trade. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we had about 9 bars, maybe 10 green bars of a run. And then we had 1 red bar going in the opposite direction. And then back to green. Well, I like that opportunity to get back in that trade and run. And these runs like this can usually run in threes for whatever reason, but it can run 2, 3, 4, 5 times with a continuation bar. Okay, so that's something we're looking to add as well. Not so much the adding to trades when you get a wick at the bottom of a bar, or also known as a tail, but certainly a continuation trade is something that I want to see in ITEC. So Todd says, can the trailing stop line be changed for size and color? Meaning, can you make it thicker and a different color?
Yes.
So the user can.
Yeah, you can. And so what I'm going to do real quick is just push this target out so that we can actually get some of those lines to print on here. And that way you guys can see it. Oops. All right, so you're talking about these lines here. And so that's actually an indicator that does nothing but plot those for ITEC. And it's called ITEC Orders, and ITEC adds that automatically. So when ITEC is on the chart, if you open up the indicator windows, you'll see this here, and it won't let you remove it because the strategy requires it. But you can come in here and you can change the colors, and you can change the thickness.
Make them big and fat, like 3.
So now if we make them 3, let's say, so now they're really super obvious where they're at. And so what you can do is if you right-click anywhere in this space, you'll get this little thing, Set Default for ITEC Orders. So if you go ahead and do that, now that's my default. And now anytime I add ITEC to a chart, it's going to call this strategy or this indicator, and it's going to remember that those are the default settings for it. So you only have to do that one time if you set it. If you set it as the default.
Good question.
Where are we at?
So one of the questions is, will Ty be speaking tonight? Ty actually went out of town, and he is in Las Vegas. Are you kidding me, Ty? So he's in Viva Las Vegas, and he will be here next Wednesday. We'll do another training next Wednesday. We're going to do these trainings as long as people show up, okay? We are committed. You got to understand something about how I conduct business and how Derek conducts business. And this is one of the reasons I think why Derek and I hit it off so well. Our major goal is to make sure that you are satisfied, that you are getting your answers. Now, in saying that, you know, we can't make it so you have positive trades all the time. If we could do that, that would cost a few dollars, trust me. That's not what I'm talking about here. I am talking about client or customer or member satisfaction. We are always here for you. And believe me when I say that it takes a lot to do what we do on the other side. We have families. Derek has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Can you believe that? So he's got responsibilities different than mine. My kids are 16, 17, and almost 18, right? So, but we have families. And with that being said, Derek gets up like at 4 in the morning his time. He's in Pacific time. He gets up like at 3:30 in the morning answering my questions and other people's questions. That's dedication, man. Not the, and he's got this 1-year-old, right? He's got a little dude running around. Or maybe, is he running around yet?
He sure is. You're so anxious to see him walk, and then they do, and you're like, God, I miss when you would just stay where I put you.
Can we train them like dogs? Stay. Roll over. Anyways, so our number one commitment is to you guys, and Derek and I are in the exact same camp when it comes to that. So as long as there's need for training, we will continue to do these ITEC training webinars. And as we add stuff, there's going to be always questions. We understand that. Anything new, there's questions. In another month, the questions you're asking now won't be these. They'll be different because we'll be adding other things to this. Okay? Eventually, we will add a whole different trading strategy to this that you'll be able to toggle off and on if you want to. A whole different trading strategy than what ITEC does right now. So you would have 2 choices. Anyways, that's down the road. I kind of teased you guys a little bit there. Anyways, let's go back to the question board.
Yeah, I was just showing some examples here to a couple people of changing the colors in the cloud, and that you can change the way the 50 and 200 EMA look. I mean, I know this makes no sense the way I have it, but if that's what you want to do, you can do that. And then also these order connecting lines that NinjaTrader draws automatically. It's got nothing to do with ITEC. If you choose to have it show where your trades happen, you just plot text and marker. You can plot markers only. So just like this, and you can change the thickness and the color of those lines and stuff. So I get asked that a lot about where are my trades. Well, you don't have it showing you any markers, so you just have to come and set this either to markers only or text and marker.
So David England is asking. He says your ITEC chart is using the new charts. Do you suggest using the new charts? Now, it's David, as far as ITEC trades go, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what charts you have up there. The original white charts that I have or these newer dark charts. It really doesn't matter. ITEC doesn't look at it and say, oh, these are cool, I'm going to trade now. It doesn't matter. Okay. I hope I answered that question. We got a long one in here from Rich D. So Rich D, email me that statement, please, about scalping. Okay, Rich D, thank you. Can trailing stop line be changed for size and color? We already did that. Thank you, Rich. Does your background color have anything to do with the trades?
No, it does not.
Okay.
No, well, I mean, I guess kind of, sort of, but not exactly. So like these reddish, brownish shaded background areas is marking the time of day that ITEC is not going to place trades. It will manage a trade if it happened to be in one, but it will not enter a new trade in that time. And that's just one of the settings in ITEC. So if we just scroll up, like I have it set on this example, 6:30 to 11 a.m. And this is 24-hour time, so if you wanted 1 p.m., you'd have to put 1300 in there. And that's what this shaded background represents. Other than that, nothing about anything on the chart has anything to do with ITEC, really.
Okay. Can you change the instrument while ITEC is active? No. I mean, you can, right?
You can.
You can.
Like so like I changed to gold and ITEC stays active with the exact same settings. If you do that in the middle of the trade, you are going to abandon orders, and that's a bad thing. So don't do it if it's in a trade.
Okay. Will ITEC be made available for Forex? Folks, Derek, and I'll add my name to it, Derek and I have something very special for you guys when it comes to the Forex industry, the Forex trading. So just please stay tuned. Again, I don't give dates because every time I do, it doesn't happen. That's technology. So we're not going to give you a date. So you're going to have to just take this tease. Derek has something extremely special for you guys when it comes to Forex trading, and I'm going to leave it at that for now. That's a tease.
Yeah.
Brian says, can you have white backgrounds to print better?
Any color you want, Brian.
Brian, any color you want, my brother. How do you add Granny's arrow alerts? Okay, so Ed, Granny's arrows are something that I physically put on the charts in the morning to give somebody an idea of what direction I'm looking to trade in. So basically, if you just came into the room, you're 10 minutes late, you could look at my charts, and if I've already gone over it, you can look at the arrow and know what I'm looking to do with that specific instrument. So, Granny, you're very popular. Granny's arrows are stuff we just named the Granny's arrows because Granny wanted me to put arrows on the charts so people could understand what we were looking to do as far as possible trades. So that's why we call them Granny's arrow. Okay, and soon we'll be coming out with a Granny's sub sandwich. It's got extra salami on it and extra mayonnaise, and I dig it.
Oh man, Patty, the black price marker that shows up happens when you get an arrow right at the very beginning. It doesn't start drawing the dotted line right away.
Right.
And so that little black price marker is indicating where that value is going to be drawn. That's all that is.
Where it is now, but you can't see it.
Yeah, I don't have one right now, so it's a bad example.
They only pop up once in a while. You have to be watching it because as soon as the dash line starts to print, it goes away.
Exactly.
Ed says, I'm talking about sound alerts. So, Derek, sound alerts when an arrow pops up.
Sound alerts. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So this is with the YTD arrow indicator. You have these options right here, and you have the option to play an audio alert, true or false. By default, I have it set to false because it could sound like the Wild West pretty quick. So you set it to true, and then you just have to choose what sound you want it to play. And these are all built-in sounds into NinjaTrader that you can select from.
Scott is asking if we would be willing to have a Facebook group or similar social media where ITEC users could encourage and compare ideas with one another. Yes, that's on the list, and once things kind of calm down a little bit, that's something we'll be looking to do. I say as things calm down. Anytime a business, it doesn't matter really the business, brings out something new, usually they get inundated with questions and emails and phone calls and all that. And that's exactly what's happening right now with especially Derek and myself. So as soon as this becomes more of a well-oiled machine, and we have a FAQ and more videos and all that stuff, we will have time to do other things like Facebook pages and things like that.
Yeah, we'll get that set up in the near-ish future.
Right.
First and foremost, I want to get everybody up and running and make sure that you guys know what it is you're looking at and what these settings are doing.
Very cool. If I'm in a trade and I lose internet, or say your PC goes down, what happens with the trade? Is the trade still on?
Yes, because that's with your broker. So, right. Yeah, ITEC is the same as if you had manually taken a trade, and you lost your internet or your power.
So,
same situation.
So that brings up another subject, folks, and this is very important, and it's something that doesn't happen a lot, thank God, but it does happen. So please listen carefully. You should have your broker's 800 number to get to the broker's trading room right on your computer, someplace, not on your computer, but on your keyboard or something. So your internet goes out, your computer fails, you have a power outage or something happens and you're in trades, you can call them up and you can tell them to close your trades. You can call them every 5 minutes and ask them where your trades are at, and they'll tell you. It doesn't happen, but I'll tell you, it happened to me once, and I wasn't prepared. So learn from my mistake. Tonight, before you go to bed, if you're in the United States, Canada, or Mexico, if you're in Central America, Southern America, your homework assignment is to get your broker's phone number to their trading desk, put it on a card or something, laminate it. I don't care what you do, but have it available, because most of the times we have a lot of information on our computer, and if your computer goes down, you may not have access to that phone number. You may not be able to get that phone number, and you're in trades, and you might be freaking out. So put it in your phone, do whatever you need to do, but tonight, get that phone number. Yeah, and your account number too. Good job, Rich. And your account number as well should be with it. So because they're going to ask you what your account number is. Thank you, Rich.
All right. I think we're looking good. Christian, using your own ATM strategy with ITEC. ITEC's really not compatible with doing that. I know it's possible to have a strategy do that, but with the way that ITEC works, it's calling, you're actually having two trades, so you'd actually be running two ITMs, but it wouldn't know which to send to which, if that makes sense. So that's why we're adding some enhancements to the trailing stop options and methods, so that you can get to something that's pretty close to what you might set up in a traditional ATM. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to something that's kind of along the lines of what you're looking for.
So Ed has the number to the Ninja Trader trading desk. It's 31. If you want to write this down, I'll give it to you right now. It's 312-423-2234. Again, Ninja Order Desk, 312-423-2234. Thank you, Ed, for that. I appreciate it. Mike says, how soon in bars does an arrow populate the chart after change in direction?
That really depends on the price action. So this dotted line is not a fixed distance away from bars. It's based on the price movement. So you can see in some places, like right here, you had one red bar and then we got an arrow. But some places, like here, we had to have two green bars before it got an arrow in the opposite direction. So the answer is it depends. Usually two. If you get two bars, you're usually getting an arrow. But that's not a hard and fast rule. It's price driven.
Okay. Horace says, can I use ITEC just to enter trades?
Not probably in the way that you're asking. No.
So what he's asking is, so ITEC takes the trade and then I manually trade it from there.
Yeah. So like ITEC is going to put the stops and the targets in there. You could push that initial target out further, but it's going to put something in there. So keep that in mind if you intend to handle it 100% manually.
Okay. Bill says, I noticed I was able to add two ITEC strategies to a chart. I was looking to trade during certain times of the day, 4 to 5 in the morning, and then 8 to 9 in the morning. So I added 2 ITECs to the chart and set them up to trade those time frames only.
Bill, that's awesome. I think that's a brilliant idea.
That is awesome. That's so that's cool. I like that. It's the first I've heard about that.
Yep.
Very cool, Bill. Patty says, I see 2 very small, fine green lines reaching from entry to exit. Did you already cover that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, we got that one. Well, folks, it looks like we're pretty much caught up. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to come in the training tonight. It is recording, or it is recorded. I will go ahead and clean up the recording or whatever, and then I'm going to upload it to the members area, and I will absolutely email you when it's available, so you guys can go check it out if you want to.
Steve, I'm going to show everybody one important thing real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Since I am working on a new update for ITEC, when it's time for you guys to download that, you'll have to uninstall the current version of ITEC that you have on your computer before it will let you bring in the new one. And so in order to do that, you got to get your Ninja Control Center, and you go to File, Utilities, remove Ninja Script Assembly, and then you'll select ITEC and click Remove. And that's going to remove it. And then you'll be able to come in and select Import and import the new version. And that's it. So probably saved myself a half a dozen emails there, but
right.
I know that can be a tricky thing because it's not something that you do often. So that'll be the process when the update comes out. And of course, I'll send everybody an email when that's ready, probably in the next 2 days or so.
All right. So without further ado, let's give a big hand to Derek. Thank you, Derek, for all your awesome work. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. It's good fun. Thanks for everybody being such a great team. This has been a ton of fun.
Right. So, and it's only going to get better, guys. And we all look forward to meeting Derek in Las Vegas, possibly in March at the first live event of the year. So anyways, very cool. I'll check you guys out tomorrow morning in the trading room. And you guys have an awesome night. Thank you very much for attending, and God bless, man. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.